Welcome CSE 102, welcome to PP05. This is our Office overview, and we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation that'll incorporate kind of a lot of things that you've worked with already, including working with themes, working with transitions, animations, working with your master slides, working with your lists, formatting, all kinds of stuff in here that we're going to put together, and then you'll kind of do a little overview of some of the things you've learned in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And you're going to download a sample to look at, and that'll give you an idea of what the finished product should look like. And here it is right here. It's going to say PP05 Office Overview. It's going to have your section number and your name and some kind of cheesy piece of clip art you could put on there. Hopefully you'll find something better than that. And this will be the first slide. It'll be Microsoft Word, and you'll have the title Word here. You'll have an icon that you could just copy and paste in there. It'll say what I learned in Word. It'll have some bullet list things, how to set tabs, indents, styles, and then you could even have a second list that describes how to do something like styles. And you could use this same stuff if you want. We will supply it to you, so if you want to use this same stuff, or if you want to write your own stuff, that's fine. And you can see this has kind of three levels here. It has kind of like a header, and then it has a first list level of red square bullets, and then the second list level has numbers. And we're going to format these. And notice that they animated, so let's look at the second one. This one's Excel, and we kind of color-coded the heading after the fact to match up with the logo or the icon and what I learned in Excel. And this one just brought everything in all at once. You might not want to do every line one at a time. It just gets time-consuming, but it says how to format cells, formulas, charts, and then it has the numbered list. Then the third slide, this one has what I learned in PowerPoint, and then these bullets just come in one at a time, all the different things, and a lot of these we're going to do in this exercise. So that's PP05, and we're going to get started. And I'll go File, New, and when you go New, you're actually going to use, in 2013, you're going to try to use Vapor Trail, try to use a new one that you have. We use Vapor Trail, and they have variants here. You could pick a variant here right from the beginning, or you could just say Create and do it after the fact. So if you go into Design and you have Vapor Trail selected up here, you should see the variants over here as well. So if you want to pick one of these variants, you could do a white one. You could stay with the black, but I have the instructions set up to use kind of the white background, so I'll do that for now. So that's one of the white variants that's in here, and we're going to modify this because if you look at the fonts, it's using Century, this kind of thin sans serif font. It's not really a nice font, so we're going to customize this theme. We already know how to do that from some of the other exercises where we made a custom theme. So we're going to be modifying this theme here and then saving it. So we got to get into the theme first. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go into View. And before we even get into the theme, I want you to make sure you check rulers, because we're going to be doing something with our list levels and indents that you're going to want to see the rulers. So make sure you have that checked. And then we're going to go to Slide Master, because that's where we get into our master template for our theme that we're working on, or what's called the Slide Master. And it always comes in here and it never shows the very top one, which I think is confusing. So make sure that you scroll up and you look at the top one, because this top one, this top thumbnail, kind of sets the tone for everything else. You could still modify different things about the other slides or about the other slide thumbnails, but this one kind of sets the tone for everything. So we'll do this one first, and then we'll kind of edit the title one. But make sure you scroll up. I'm not sure if that's all the time, but I don't know why it starts there. You should go up to the very top one, and some of the things we're going to do on here, we're going to take it out of this font. So I'll just highlight this ugly looking font over here. And remember, when you're in the Slide Master, you close when you're all done. That kind of saves everything, but you can go to your Home tab. You can kind of move around while you're in there, and we're going to change this to Georgia. So I'm going to use Georgia, and you might use another serif font like Cambria or something. But I'm going to use Georgia, and I'll make it bold, and I'll make this one 54. And I don't like it in all caps like that, so I could turn off the caps. We don't have to retype it. We just have to use this little icon here, change case, and we're going to put it in sentence case. And we're going to change the color, and we're going to use a red from this thing in here. So I'll use the eyedropper, and I'll just kind of choose a nice red in here, and I'll choose the red there, and that's it. And then I'll move on to my list, and we'll set up our list here. So I'm going to highlight the first level of our list. This one we're going to take out of being a bullet. So this will be like a little heading here. So we're going to take it out of being a bullet, and we're going to make it like 32 point, and we're going to make it Georgia, and we're going to make it bold. So this one will almost be like another little heading here. So this one will not have a bullet. So that's 32 Point Georgia bold. Leave the color as it is right now, that black color. And then these, what you could do with these levels down here, we're going to change these, but you can make them all Calibri right now, and then we'll kind of individualize what we're going to do with them. So I'm going to make them Calibri, and I'll just make them all Calibri first. And then I'm going to go to my second level here, and I'm going to make this one 24. And I'm going to make it bold. And I'm going to make it kind of a dark gray. I'll use this kind of gray right here. And it doesn't matter what dark gray you use. So I'll make it gray. And then I want to put a red square bullet on it. And we did this in earlier exercises. We go to the little bullet drop down, and we choose the square ones. Unfortunately, that doesn't change the color. So we have to go to bullets and numbering. And they have a little drop down for color here. And if you already used the eyedropper before, you could choose that red that's down here, and we'll just use that one. And we'll hit OK, and that's our first list level. And now for the second list level, I'm going to highlight this one. It's 18 right now. I'm going to take that up a little higher. I'm going to take it up to 20. The other one's 24. I think we'll make this one 20. We'll make this one a little bit bigger, and we'll make it a number. So we'll click on the numbered list here. And then also one thing it'll say in the instructions is to kind of make sure that this is set up so that this thing, this bottom indent, and that's where the hanging indent is set up, that the bottom one is at 1.5 and the top one is at 1, and that's actually where it is right now, so that's okay. So these are okay right now, so that should be that's at 1, that's at 1.5. And if you're not sure, they have a place in here where you go into line spacing options and they show you your indent. They show you it's at 1.5, which is here, and then it's hanging by 1/2 inch. That means it's going back 1/2 inch. That's what the hanging means. So they do these differently in different applications, but where your text is at 1.5, and where it's hanging about 1/2 inch behind it. So that's what it's doing right now. If you look at a ruler, it's at 1.5 and it's hanging about 1/2 inch. So that's what this means in here. Or you could just visually move these around on the ruler, and that's a little easier. But I just wanted to point that out right now. Another thing I'm also going to do with this list level is I'll just increase this to 12 space before, so that when we do these lists, there'll be a little more space in them. And I'll do that to this one too. I forgot to do that one. And again, I could use this little line spacing thing and just open up. This opens up like in Word, how you have that paragraph settings. This opens up the settings, and I'll just put that to 12 before, and I'll hit OK. And so both of these are at 12. This fourth level here, if you want to just set it to a letter like that, we could just do that. Because I don't even think we're going to use it, so we're just going to have this one in a number, so I think we're going to be okay. So you don't have to do anything with the fifth level right now. I think there's an instruction to kind of move that one to 1.5 and this one to 2. So you could do that. So that'll be the A1, but I don't know if we're really going to see those even in the list that we have. So, but that sets up all our lists the way we want them. And remember that you won't be hitting these buttons when you're in your regular PowerPoint, when you're making your slides. This is set up already. All that you're going to be using are these kind of forward and backward arrows to kind of increase or decrease your list level. So make sure that you already did the work. Don't do it again. So this is all done for you. The only other thing we're going to do in our master right now is go to this second title slide master, and I'm just going to change this. I'll make sure this is Georgia, and I'm going to put it up to 66. I'll make that a little bigger. And don't worry, this is just the template kind of wording. We're just going to have a shorter thing in here. And then also this part here, I'm going to change this from Georgia. I'm going to put it back to Calibri, and I'm going to put it up to 24. And I'll also do a gray color. I think I have an existing gray here, or if not, it's just the third and the third. That's where I've been doing the gray. So that's my title slide. So my title slide will have a little bit bigger title on it than the individual slide. So that's all we have is these two that we're setting up formatting for. So that's pretty much all we need. Now we are going to customize some things once we get into the software, but that's the first part of it. So remember, before you get out of your master slide, you got to go to Slide Master and you got to close. And what we're going to have here, you're going to start your master slide, and you're going to add a title, and I think it'll just say PP05 Office Overview. And if it doesn't fit in there real well, you could stretch this out a little bit if you want it to go on one line, and then you could put a piece of clip art up here. And then down here, you're just going to put CSC 102 and then put like a dash or space dash space Always put a space on either side of the dash, or no spaces at all, but be consistent. And then just put your name. So I'll just put my name. That's my name. So my name, and that's pretty much our title slide, and we'll put some artwork here, but we won't worry about that stuff until the end. So now I'm going to insert a second slide, and remember there's only going to be 3 slides that'll kind of look the same. So we'll make this look as best we can, and then you could just duplicate it. So we'll do the title and content one. That's the next one, and we set that up already. And what we're going to put in here is we'll just call this Microsoft Word, and then what's going to be here is what I learned in Word, and you'll have a listing. Now when you hit return here, or even if you just click your cursor next, hit return after this D, now it's going to start typing in the same style. And what people do is that they highlight it and then they click these bullet things. Don't do that. All that you have to do is click the forward button, and it'll because your formatting's already done. And then what you're going to do is put what I learned in Word, and it's like I learned how to set tabs. Whatever this is. I learned how to indent. I learned how to use styles. Now when you're going to do how to use styles, that's when you're going to hit return and you're going to indent, increase your list level again, and then it's going to be in numbers, and you're basically going to say, you know, highlight whatever the steps are. I wasn't looking at them, but format your text. And then the second step might be hit the new style button. Give it a name. And then the fourth might be apply styles to other text by clicking on name. You know, and you might put another one about editing the styles. Whatever you want to put in here, whatever you learned this semester. And that's our first slide here. Now, if you want to put some artwork in here, and we'll go find something, I'll go look at something, and I make sure I'm in images, and you'll find a lot of images. And this is the kind of newest one, is this one here. And you don't want anything really huge. And here's another one here. That's 1,000 pixels. That's pretty big. We don't need that. This one will be fine. And I'm just going to copy it. So I could right click and say copy image, and I'll just go back to PowerPoint. So I'm just going to hit paste it, and I'll just move it over here. I'll line it up nicely under here. I might want to line it up exactly where my text is. You'll get these little arrows. So that's the way I want it to look. And so this isn't red anymore. I made this red to match the theme, but you can take this text and kind of match the icon. So again, use the eyedropper and just go down here and choose the eyedropper and just click on that. So that'll make it the same color. So that's your first one. And before you even do the second slide yet, you might be tempted to just go do the Excel one. We can set up our animations and our transitions, because if you do it here, they'll be built into the other one. So if you do the work here, then you don't have to do it again. So I'm going to set up our animation. So I'm going to go to animations, and I'm just going to, you might want to use really fancy ones. I just use the fade one, and it'll show you that's your first one. And then I'll make this a second one. And I'll do them all the same. Some people like to use different ones. I don't. I like to keep them, consistent, because I think too many different ones annoy people. And then here's my third animation. And then these, you could do these one at a time. I guess you could do these one at a time if you're doing it this time. That way they'll already be animated. You don't have to do it again. So I'm animating all of these separate. So there's 8 separate animations here. They're all the fade. And we could do transitions when you're done. Remember, the transitions are between the slides. Animations are the text and the elements on the slide. You could even have objects to animate and stuff like that. But that's your first slide. So this is kind of, once you set up this one, the other two will be easy, because then you're just going to duplicate this one. Don't do a new one and start all over again. Just duplicate this one, and I'll just do duplicate slide, and then I'll make sure, then you just, on the second one, make sure you're in the right one here. I'll just make this Excel, and just so I don't get messed up here, I'm going to go find a graphic and do that first. So I'll scroll up here, and I'll just change this to Excel, and it's 2013 is what we're working in. Right click on it and copy image, and go back to PowerPoint, and I'll paste. I'll do the picture one, and I'll move it over. I'll paste it in about the same place. I'll highlight this and use the eyedropper. I'll go to my home tab and use the eyedropper and sample that green. And there's my Microsoft Excel. And now what you're going to do here is just change this text. So change this to be Excel and all the things you did in Excel, duplicate it again, and then do the ones that all the things you did in PowerPoint, and then bring in a new graphic, change the colors, do all that. So once you set up your template, everything should be fine. The last thing you're going to do, Okay, I did a PowerPoint one here. I didn't do all my copy. I just changed this and I changed the title and I changed the icon. So there's my 3 slides. For my last slide, what you could do is you could duplicate the last one and you could just say duplicate slide. And if it goes second, just drag it and move it to the end. And then here you could just say, you could center it if you want. You could just say, I'm glad I'm done. That's I don't know if this is the last exercise that you'll do, but it's usually towards the end. So thanks, I'm done. And then if you want to put some, if you want to go in this one and put some graphic up here, you could go find something for like Office. So I could go up here and just find Microsoft. Instead of PowerPoint or anything, I'll just find Office. Here's a nice looking one over here. I'll just copy this image and I'll put it back into PowerPoint. And I'll put that up here. And I'll make it a little smaller. Grab the corner there, just make it a little smaller and kind of align things. It looks nice, kind of aligned right towards the edge of that there. So I have a nice little slideshow here. Make sure you save it as PPO5. I'll save as, and I'll make sure I call it PPO5 Office Overview. And you want to put like an underscore in your last name, and then because that's who I am, and that's it. And that's the one you're going to upload when you're all done with everything, with all your animations, and you get all your text in there. And you could save that. And that's it. And you could test it out and see how it looks. Go to your slideshow, go to from beginning, check it out, really enjoy this. Now, one thing I didn't do, actually, I forgot something. Thought you were all done. One thing I didn't do is I want to go over here and highlight all these. You could select the top one and then go all the way down to the bottom one. You could hold shift and click on the bottom one. And one thing I didn't do is transition. So if you want to do a transition between them, you could use anything that you want here. You could do a reveal. That way they'll kind of reveal. Then if you go back to your slideshow, and it'll do that to every slide. So if we do this, and of course this will be annoying, it reveals everyone like that. Yeah, that's really annoying because everyone's doing that. And that's what it looks like. So I can't even bear to watch this anymore. But there's all the fades coming in there. Obviously, you don't want to be doing a lot of animations like that. You want to keep it to a minimum if you were doing a real presentation. But for the sake of getting used to some of this, hopefully we know how to do all that. I'll escape out of here, and we already have it saved. I could save again since I just did that transition. And then that's it. Then you're going to upload that file. So you're all done with PPO5.